5, 4, 3. Let's try that again. 5, 4, 3. Hi, everybody. Dugroz here with Dugroz Reports, reporting live from the Hyatt Place in East Moline, Illinois. Today is Saturday, November 1st, 2025. Good to see each and every one of you on board this morning. Coming at you live in 480p. I apologize. The hotel Wi-Fi is not the best I've ever had. So if somebody could just give me a A-OK on the audio and make sure it's not too choppy. I mean, frankly, if it is choppy, I don't know what I can do about it. I'm subject to the hotel Wi-Fi. But let's take a peek around the horn and just see who's on board here. And then I'll explain why I am where I am. Kevin Hawthorne says good morning from Lakeland, Florida. Tom Graber stops by and drops one Dugroz Reports membership. Celebrate, celebrate. Thank you, Tom. I really appreciate that. Dad on a Mission has arrived. Matt Clausen, Bill Wright, Texas Seabass. Matt Clausen mentions throwing me a last-minute data point, and I asked him which one. He said, sent via Discord, this is a Rove blog post. They made loyalty eligible stays even better. I apologize. I haven't actually seen it yet, Matt, and the internet connection here is so suspect that I'm afraid if I open Discord, it'll make me get all choppy. So if it's okay with you, I'll probably save that for another time. DEM, Yuri BSU, how is the breakfast? Audio's okay. Breakfast was mid, and you'll have a picture in just a few moments. Thank you for asking. Looks like a Hyatt Place. What gave you that clue? Was it the standard Hyatt couch in the background that literally like every Hyatt Place and Hyatt House has? You are exactly right, Dad on a Mission. I am at the Hyatt Place in East Moline, Illinois. Let's go ahead and share my screen. And I thought I'd already started sharing, but I need to click the correct buttons in order to share the screen. There we go. So I'm in East Moline, Illinois, not too far from Western Illinois University Quad Cities campus. Now, the main campus for Western Illinois University is in Macomb, Illinois, which is a little south of here. But they have a branch campus in the Quad Cities, which is 4 cities that straddle the Mississippi River, 2 in Iowa, 2 in Illinois. The one specific is in Moline, Illinois, although the hotel is in East Moline. And the reason why I'm here is because my son is participating in a chess tournament today. In fact, it's already started. Started about a half hour ago. I already dropped him off. Chess is not really a spectator sport, so I'm back at the hotel. The Hyatt Place is right here, kind of on like a bend in the river. It kind of sticks out into the Mississippi River, that building right there. Here's a different angle as you get closer. This is one of those Hyatt Place, Hyatt House combos. It's called The Bend. You can kind of see but behind those bushes it says Bend. I wonder if they thought when they built this there'd be a whole lot of development. It's kind of weird. It's almost like there's railroad tracks. There's like an industrial road. You drive by like a lot of warehouses and stuff. And then there's this really nice Hyatt Place in the middle of nowhere. So whatevs. Anyhow, additional people on board include D. Green. Good morning. Dad on a Mission says, yes, I've been to the Quad Cities before. Awesome. And Studio TK drops a $1.49 super sticker. Celebrate, celebrate. You know what that means. I have an ongoing challenge. Anyone who donates exactly $1.49 as displayed on the screen gets 1,000 Dugroz points. So I crown you, Mr. Squirrel, with 1,000 Dugroz points. In addition to that, LN330 does the same thing. Celebrate, celebrate. Thank you, LN. So here's your 1,000 Dugroz points. Yuri BSU says the couch with red pillows in a Hyatt House or Place is like McDonald's Golden Arches. Sure is. It's kind of comforting. And Juan Garcia from the MIA is here. Good morning. Good to see you, Juan. 32 people on board. Go ahead and keep on smashing the thumbs up button. That'll bring more people in. And I can't raise my voice too much because I'm in a hotel, and that would be kind of rude. So I'm keeping it down a little more than usual. Normally I have like a big monitor. I just have my little MacBook laptop monitor today, which is why I'm talking a little on the softer side. So I mentioned this last week, but I'll mention it again here. This particular hotel is 5,000 points per night. Going to be staying 2 nights. That's 10,000 points. And if you're curious about how the math works out on this, the cash rate for both nights put together would have been $258. So That's super easy math. That's 2.58 cents per point. So sometimes we say Hyatt is easy mode, and it sure is, but sometimes the easy solution is the correct solution. A few other observations about the Hyatt Place here. This is sort of like Dugroz data points in-person mode. The bathroom has these stupid sliding doors that go into the wall. I think they're called barn doors or pocket doors. Pocket doors actually aren't as bad as barn doors. Nope, this is not a pocket door. It's just a modern-looking barn door. Like, I feel like you never have real privacy. There's like this little crack that's just like a quarter inch, and you can hear every little thing. Can we start a petition to go back to just regular doors for hotel interior rooms? And Yuri asked how the breakfast was. It was meh. It wasn't great. Unfortunately, the eggs were, your eggs that come in a carton and you pour them out. They just have no flavor whatsoever. The orange juice was good. Sausage was mid. Breakfast potatoes were mid. I also had a bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch just because none of this was really inspiring me. Dad wants to know if there's any trick-or-treating at the hotel. Not that I've seen, although they did have Halloween decorations up when we arrived last night. My son had a football game, sadly his last one of the season, and by the time it was done, it was about 10:30. So we drove straight through until about 1:30 in the morning. By the time I got settled into bed, it was after 2:15. Woke up at 7:15 to get him ready for the tournament and eat breakfast. So I'm operating on a short amount of sleep. Ellen says I'm up to 5,000 Dugroz points now, getting closer to a free appetizer at Bennigan's. That's right. Liz says hi. Hi, Liz. Thanks, Matt, for letting us know. That is a classic Hyatt Place breakfast. Even the square plate. You're right. And he's staying at one tonight. Ah, sweet. Probably not the one in East Moline, Illinois, but let me know if I'm wrong. 33 people on board. Keep clicking the thumbs up button. And then one other observation about the Hyatt here. Interestingly, in the elevator was this sign. Ooh, I can't zoom in that much. Members say when. World of Hyatt members can now reserve early check-in or late checkout prior to arrival at Hyatt Place. And it has a website, hyattplacecheckincheckout.com. However, when I went to that website, it just redirected to the generic World of Hyatt site. It's like it's not yet ready for prime time. So you know how Hilton has now implemented the thing where you can pay for early check-in or late checkout? This is speculation, but I bet you that the same thing is coming, at least to Hyatt Places and Hyatt Houses. Can't say that for sure, but we'll find out. Juan says, Doug, I was thinking of your oh no post with Wyndham and Vacassa breakup. Hey, that's a good preview. So today's theme of the day is in fact that. So if you've been paying attention this week, Wyndham and Vacassa announced that they are breaking up. They're getting a divorce on December 1st, although you'll still have partial custody until the end of January. And we're going to talk about that. There's going to be a lot of mourning involved. I'm a little verklempt over the issue myself. Chad Penningham arrived, says howdy. Hey, Chad, thanks for your support and being on board. I appreciate it. All right, now we'll transition into general Dugroz data points. So every Saturday morning, I'm here usually in the neighborhood of 9:30 a.m. Central Time, and we start out with some Dugroz data points. This is just anything I find interesting in the world of points, cashback, credit cards, travel, sometimes just random personal things. So let's dive in. Last week, I made some contributions to the gift of college and was able to pay with a credit card. Now, unfortunately, it is about a 3.5% fee you pay. Unfortunately, there's none of the places near me that have the juicy $500 gift cards, only the $200 one. But I've got a play in mind where I'm going to contribute to this and then later on double dip by paying some of the expenses for my kids. They go to a certified private school for high school. And several years ago, the 529 rules changed that you can make 529 contributions to a certified private school, K through 12. So that's helping me. There was $1,000 worth of gift cards. That's helping me meet the minimum spend requirement on my Inc. Business Unlimited. I'm going to put all the details on my members only side. So if you want to know exactly what I did, stay tuned. It might be several months, but eventually I'll have a video about gift of college and how I double dipped with that. Hey, that's as good as a transition to any. There's different ways to support my channel. You can, of course, do what others have done and drop a super chat or a super sticker. Anything that you donate goes to support my channel. 80% reinvested in the channel or special projects, 20% to support my family budget. And if you want to support me in other ways, you can also donate a channel membership. I have well over 50 members-only videos. I think I'm probably over 60 now. And the only way to watch those is to become a Dugroz diehard. That's my one and only one membership level. It's $3 a month, cancel anytime. I had a blooper video not too long ago, had a little inside joke type video you can watch also. Some are shorts, some are longs. But if you become a Dugroz diehard, you can view those. You can also donate a channel membership. If you want to support me anonymously or just in a way where fewer of the fees go to YouTube, I do have a link in the description box for the tip jar. And if you want to support that, you can do that as well. If it's while the stream is going, I'll do my best to acknowledge it. Sorry for the delay here. I'm just waiting for the computer to catch up. It's like super slow. Nobody knows the internet I've seen. All right, I'll catch up on some comments here. 36 people on board. Not making a lot of progress, but hang in there. The Rewards Master is here. Hey, Dugroz, good to be here. Thanks, Rewards Master. Appreciate you being here. All right, we'll keep on moving ahead. Next Dugroz data point. This is just sort of an interesting observation here. Have you ever gotten those two-factor authentication text messages? And I noticed when I got one recently that they're all coming from the same number. So Gift of College, Hilton, and Wyndham apparently all use the exact same company for their two-factor authentication. Don't know if that's worth anything, but it's worth something, so I thought I'd mention it. Luke says, Doug just nonchalantly being a big league dad and YouTuber at the same time. Thanks for being you. Hey, I appreciate that, Luke. We can commiserate in that sense. Kids, YouTube, sometimes you can find a way to kind of combine them here. And it's great when we do. So the theme of the day today, Wyndham broke up with Vacassa. Now, I'm just going to present a little bit of information about that. This is interesting because I was talking about Wyndham really not too long ago whatsoever. In fact, it was just 2 weeks ago. I was doing my live stream from Clear Lake, Iowa, staying at an American by Wyndham. And the logic was there was this Wyndham promotion where I could earn 7,500 points by booking a 2-night stay, and then an additional 7,500 points by paying for it on one of my Wyndham credit cards. The only one I have is the Wyndham Business Earner card. And I did the math and figured out that if all this goes through, I would get a total of 19,157 points. And I value, or at least at that time, valued my Wyndham points at 1.25 cents per point, which came out to $239. So I paid like $222 for the 2 nights in a hotel, and I got $239 in value, so more than break even. However, we have hit a snag, and this is one of the things you find in the world of points and miles. The reason why I value those at 1.25 cents per point is because of stays at 2 different places. One is cottages.com, which are vacation rentals in England and the greater United Kingdom. And then the other is Vacassa. Vacassa is sort of like a competitor to VRBO. It has vacation rentals, cabins, condominiums. Sometimes you can rent just like a room in a house or something like that. And there was some big news on that not too long ago. In fact, just earlier this week, hat tip to Matt Clausen, who alerted me to this. Vacassa and Wyndham are having a breakup. So if you go to the Wyndham page, it will say redeeming options with Vacassa Vacation Rentals will end on November 30th this year. That's in like 29 days. The last day to make a new Vacassa reservation or modification will be November 30th. New or modified stays must have a checkout date of January 30th, 2026 or sooner. All existing reservations, including those after January 31st, 2026, will continue to be honored. So, is this an amicable breakup or not? We know Vacassa was bought out by a company called Casago, or merged with them not too long ago. And someone noticed that a lot of their properties, especially the ones around I dropped the lid to my bottled water. It literally disappeared on me. Some people noticed that a lot of the Vacassa properties, especially the ones around Gatlinburg, Tennessee, just disappeared from the ability to book with Wyndham points, which was a huge red flag, but it wasn't a big deal until, well, this is probably the reason why. So I'm assuming in their ongoing negotiations, Casago said, we don't want to honor this agreement anymore. We're not getting enough money, something like that. So Vacassa's gone. I guess I'm glad they gave us some advanced warning, but that's really, and it's possible Wyndham didn't have a choice. That's as far as Casago would go. But that's really not enough warning, because it's not like, booking something in November for December, January is a great option. Most people want to go someplace like warm and tropical. I mean, for Pete's sakes, the example picture is like a summer vacation in Florida or something like that. So if it was like through the end of August next year, that would be more tolerable. So now a bunch of us are stuck with Wyndham points. We'll talk more about that when we get to our theme of the day video a little later. Chad Pennycuff says, first U.S. Bank Altitude Reserve, now Wyndham. Are they trying to induce Dugroz into a depression? Exactly, Chad. Exactly. In fact, to be a little more specific, I thought when I was chatting with Matt Clausen about this on Discord earlier this week, I said, like, there have been a lot of things that have gone wrong for me specifically in the world of points and miles in the last year and a half. I started listing them off. If you watch Frequent Miler, you know how they have their Bonvoid Awards. I need to do my own. I'm not sure what to call them. Like, I had that one bad experience with Condor. Do I call it the Condoid Awards or something like that? If you have a name suggestion for my awards for bad things and points and miles, let me know. John is here from John's Credit and Travel and says Dugroz is live. That's right, John. Thank you. $1.99 super chat. Pew! Celebrate. Thank you so much, John. I really appreciate it. Not sure why we have a slow uptake this morning, only 35 people on board. I'm guessing it's probably because I didn't know what time I would be able to do the live stream because of the Suns chess tournament. So I was only able to post the thumbnail like 10 minutes before I started. So probably not a lot of people. So if you would be willing to smash that thumbs up button if you are in the building, man, I would really, really appreciate that. But I'll keep going because I know a lot of people watch after the fact, and that's totally cool. Next, Dugroz data point. Hilton reverses devaluation at some properties. This is Hat Tip Doctor of Credit. Well, this is good news. Not epically good news, but moderately good news. Basically, the article goes on to say, we know in September, Hilton devalued many of its highest end properties, and some of those have been reversed. They've started to come back down. So like property that went from like 170 to 190 has gone back to 170 as a few examples. Certainly not all of them have been reversed. Some have not, but a little bit of good news is better than no good news at all. John says, plus some people I'm sure are sleeping off Halloween party hangovers. Ooh, I did not think of that, but you're almost certainly right, John. Thanks for pointing that out. Well, we'll have a lot of people watching not live. So if you're watching this not live, if you're watching it pre-recorded, I would really like it if you'd put a comment in the comment section. It can be anything. If you need a suggestion, you can just say, like, what's the name of the crappiest hotel you've ever stayed at? You don't even have to give details. If you want to give details, you can, but just like a hotel called Jim's Hotel in Freeport, Illinois, or something like that. That's all you have to do. That'll help drive the algorithm. Next data point is as follows. Hat Tip Doctor of Credit again. A clarification was obtained regarding Capital One terms combining Venture and VentureX card sign-up language. Basically, what this is telling us is that Capital One on their Venture cards is implementing family language, very similar to what Amex does. And the clarification is you cannot get a bonus on a card if you have had that card or a higher level in the prior 48 months. So if you had the Venture 1, you could get that and then the Venture. If you've had the Venture and then the Venture X, you can get a sign-up bonus on both. But if you've had the Venture X, you can't get a sign-up bonus if you've had the sign-up for any of the lower ones. Or no, it's the other way around. If you already have the Venture X and you want to get the Venture, you won't be able to get the sign-up bonus for 48 months. So basically what you want to do hypothetically, if you're trying to max out the sign-up bonuses, go in order. Get the Venture 1 card, complete that, wait 6 months, get the Venture card, wait 6 months, get the Venture X. But of course, if you're like me, I just went directly for the Venture X, so it doesn't really matter. I actually had a Capital One random card for 25 years now, and it has now been product changed into the Venture X. But I did sign up for a Venture X at one point to get the sign-up bonus. Family language on the Venture cards. Next data point, Southwest signs its first ever lounge lease. And this is going to be in Honolulu, Hawaii. So Southwest Airlines has decided to enter the game to have airport lounges, and it's going to be in Honolulu, Hawaii, which is kind of weird. I wonder if this is a little bit of a fork in the eye to the combined Atmos rewards programs, because they now have Alaska and Hawaii. Thought that was kind of interesting. I don't have a lot of information about it. If you know anything about it, speak up, let us know. But Southwest will have its first ever lounge in the not too distant future. Public service announcement. I saw this pop up in my email. Flying from San Juan to Dallas. This is a return trip, but it reminds us that the Puerto Rico meetup is 1 week from today. So if you want to go to San Juan, Puerto Rico and hang out with some small and medium-sized credit card content creators like myself, like Luke, like Chad, like John, anyone else on board who's going to be there for sure, you can do that. Kind of last minute, but you can do that. You just got to get to San Juan, Puerto Rico 1 week from today at, I think, 8:00 p.m. Eastern time. That'll be super ultra fun. I don't know that I'm going to have a live stream next week or not. If I remember correctly, this is actually my Dugroz Reports Live number 98. So I missed it by 1 week, having number 100 be in Puerto Rico. But I wouldn't have had time to prepare and do anything special anyway. So I'm taking off work Friday, this coming Friday, and then staying through the following Tuesday. Just a completely funny data point here. Last week, or maybe 2 weeks ago, on Peacock, you could watch Big Ten Saturday football, and the way the guys are standing, it looks like Big Turd. So on the screen, it just said Big Turd. Let me know if you saw that. For the Dugroz Eats segment, I've talked about Casey's Pizza many times, but I think this is the first time I've ever actually taken a picture of Casey's breakfast pizza before I took my first bite. So this one was like hot and fresh right out of the oven. Look at that. Oh, the grease. It's so good. Casey's is also Dugroz transfer partner. All right, Doctor of Credit again. There is a promotion going on right now called Hilton Stay More promotion. Earn 2,500 points on every stay. So that ties in nicely with the whole going to Puerto Rico thing, because I bet a bunch of you are staying at Hilton's. In fact, I think 3/4 of the people I've talked to are staying at the Hilton Caribe. I'm at the lowly DoubleTree, but at least I'll be there. So 2,500 points isn't much. That's like $12.50 worth of Hilton points, but at least it's something. In my case, I had to book 2 nights on points, and then a third night with a free night certificate, and then a fourth night on points again, because I booked the first 2 when it was available, and there's some availability stuff. So I'm not sure if I would get it 3 times or just once. I'm not sure how smart they are. John is laughing at Big 12 turd, or excuse me, Big 10 turn. John says Casey's Pizza is pretty darn good. Fleet Easley has arrived. How you doing, Fleet? Says Dallas represent. Let me know if you need places to check out if you're here for a bit. Unfortunately not. I'm only there for about a 1-hour layover on my way home from Puerto Rico. Well, on my way to and from Puerto Rico. But thank you for offering. Really appreciate it. I think we'll be seeing your name a little later in the live stream. Next data point. This is actually just proving that I've already registered for the Stay More, Earn More promotion. That's better than a poke in the eye. Do you guys ever get those reports from your energy company, whoever provides like your gas and electric? I always fail these reports. How you compare to others? Oop, can't zoom in that much. Efficient homes are this bar. Similar homes use this much energy. Your home uses this much energy. Loser, what do? Work from home and run the air conditioning? Why do you do that? You can see up in the top right, I'm in the fair category, which fair means bad, let's be honest. But I am improving. On the next page, it said I decreased my energy usage this period by 2%. Not sure what a period is, maybe a quarter. So Dugroz reports saving the environment single-handedly. Comment here from Ayama Karim. Do you think in the future it will apply to Sapphire cards regarding sub? Do you mean the family language? Maybe I'm a little behind here. I'm going to assume that's what you mean. Yes, I do think it will be going there eventually. Fleet says, I've never seen an electric company be passive-aggressive until today. I get those like 4 times a year. I don't know if it's just here in Iowa. Mid-American Energy. I'm calling them out by name. Well, here was a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. JetBlue has added Wells Fargo as a transfer partner on a one-to-one basis. Well, actually, it's the other way around. Wells Fargo has added JetBlue as a transfer partner on a one-to-one basis. This is hat tip to frequent miler. Is this a hugely big deal? No. Is it a moderately big deal? I guess I would say yes, especially with JetBlue having the cross partnership with United now. You should, in theory, be able to move Wells Fargo points over to JetBlue and use it to book United. Now, early returns seem to indicate that they don't have any like real amazing sweet spots, but it's better than nothing. If you're a JetBlue user and you have any level of excitement for this, please speak up and let me know. Arizona Fox, also known as Mojo, has arrived. Good to see you. And Nurikhan71 has too. How's it going all? Great. 43 people on board. Keep on clicking the like button. If you haven't already heard, if you came in late, I'm in East Moline, Illinois, at a Hyatt Place today. Took my son to a chess tournament. Time for a personal data point here. So you've heard me talk about how one of my philosophical things in Points and Miles is that travel has to pay for itself. In other words, this chair apparently leans back when you recline even a little, and it doesn't have a stopper. Let me see if I can figure out how to do this here. Sorry. I think it's on this side. There we go. Okay. Lean back prevention engaged. What I mean by that is when I travel, not counting like this weekend. This weekend is a family thing, not a vacation Points and Miles thing, even though I'm using 10,000 chase points. But like if I take a rip trip or a family vacation on Points and Miles, I account for every single penny. You don't have to, but that's just a philosophical thing that I enjoy doing. So you might wonder, like when I buy a souvenir, I stop at a drugstore and get some over-the-counter meds, or I go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac. How do I pay for that? I'm more of a quarter-pound cheeseburger kind of guy. No onions, no mustard. It's through cashback bonuses on bank accounts. It's through special little deals. And I thought I'd show you the type of record keeping I do. Anytime I have something pertinent, I record it in terms of what it got me. And I'll just hit a few highlights here. So here's the wireless credit on the Business Platinum. I have the PayPal debit card, and I cashed out $70 worth of rewards. Here's the Lyft discount when I went to see my dad in the hospital for a Lyft. I did get a Chime bank bonus through Swag Bucks, and when I moved that to my personal checking account with Wells Fargo, that was $400. What else we got? Like DoorDash savings. Oh, remember that Dell credit with the Nintendo controllers. Above and beyond $150 credit was $19. So I have to actually subtract it. That's an expense. So you'll see like up here, I bought hotel points at Choice. Got to make that a negative Dell credit. And then here's the annual fees on my card. The Venture X, the Wyndham card, which seriously. My wife's CSP, my Marriott card. So my cash back exceeded my expenses and annual fees by $442 this period. I just make this list until I feel like it's time to write a check. Then I literally write a check from my family account over to my travel savings account, which is with Schwab. And then when I travel, I figure out what my expenses are and write a check the other way from the travel savings account back to my family budget. So I do walk the walk and not just talk the talk. I do keep very careful track of all my family expenses. And then I think this is actually the last Dugroz data point today. We have an update from US Bank, still having issues. So I mentioned a couple months ago that US Bank was having duplicate entries. My parents bank at US Bank, so I have this account that I call Dad's Checking, and we paid off a Wells Fargo credit card for $120. And even though it was only debited once, it's making a double entry. Now, if you actually do the math and do the running totals, it is the correct amount. It's not double charging you, but the app and the website are still displaying double transactions. That's been going on for like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. So US Bank has pretty friendly customer service, and they're easy to get through to. I think they're US based, but their technology is just trash. So for whatever that's worth, come on, US Bank, fix it. All right. I did not grab a Kleenex or anything, so I'm going to step off to the side and grab a Kleenex here. Be right back. Sorry about this. Going to have a nose blow here, so I'm going to mute it again. Going to go off screen for this part. Crusties. Don't want to show myself dealing with those. Sorry about it. This is some very liveness. Bianca says, I'm a bit behind on the stream, but the worst hotel I've stayed at was the Residence Inn in Cedar Rapids. I'm assuming that's Cedar Rapids, Iowa, someone I know of. Residence Inn. Which hotel chain is that? I think that's a Marriott. Am I right? That sounds right. All right. So that's it. We are done with the Dugroz data points. We're ready to move on to the theme of the day. Remember, you can keep clicking thumbs up. You can do a super chat, super sticker. You can donate a membership. You can go over to the tip jar, link in the description box, and leave an anonymous donation for me. That's no problem. Help drive this algorithm a little more. Not only is it not a problem, it's super appreciated. All right. So the theme of the day today is Wyndham to Vacassa ruined group therapy session. So let's just go over. Let's talk about what's going on with this. So I'll start from scratch here. Not scratch, but just enough that even a moderate rookie would know what I am getting at here. Sorry, folks. What it was up until just a couple days ago. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by Wyndham to Vacassa? Well, you used to be able to book Vacassas for 15,000 points per bedroom per night via Wyndham. You have to just find the location you want online, and it's like lodging, like a cabin or condominium, something like that. And once you found it, you call them up and say, hey, this is what I want. Okay, we're good. Now, there was a point a little over a year ago, I think maybe a year and a half ago, where they said, if you want that rate, 15K per bedroom per night, has to be a cash rate of under $250 per bedroom per night. If it's above that, then it's 30,000 Wyndham points, up to a max of 500 per bedroom per night. So you do have to be able to do a little bit of math. You did this with Wyndham points, and that was a big deal because one of the best earning credit cards out there was the Wyndham Business Earner Card, and it earns 8 points per dollar on gas stations. And gas stations sell a lot of things, not just gas. They sell Casey's Pizza, Casey's Breakfast Pizza, Fountain Pop, Snick Snacks, as Uncle Luke says. And they also sell gift cards, Amazon gift cards, maybe some other Strategery gift cards, those kind of things. Taco Bell gift cards, whatever. I know Rewards Master loves Taco Bell if he's still on board. And then in addition to that, just by having the card, you would always get a 10% discount. So functionally, for me and people like me that had the card, I really like corn, but also it came out to 13,500 points per bedroom per night. So with that in mind, here's some examples. Now, I was hoping to stay at a lot more. I've stayed at 2 Vacassas in my life and 2 cottages. Cottages.com is a very similar thing, but in the United Kingdom. but I'll just so 4 total. I'll concentrate on the Vacassas. In 2022, my whole family did our summer vacation at the Annabelle Log Home. This was in the far northern part of Wisconsin. It was very nice. The electricity went out for about one whole day and then about a portion of a second day. But there's my wife and one of my kids out on the balcony. That was just a very, very, very beautiful home. Everything was great except for the electricity issue. Here's the inside. My wife laying on the couch reading a book, another son looking at the fireplace. And yes, that was a real fireplace, not gas. You could put your own wood in and logs, and you had bellows and all that kind of stuff. Very cozy. Here's a picture from the exterior. We did the thing where I took my phone and did panorama. And bear in mind, this was in 2022. They're 3 years older now. Started here, ran around the back of the camera. So you got one boy in the same picture twice. Here's a wide shot of the interior of the cabin. Super nice place. Here is the pier that you could fish from. You had your own fishing pier. Now, this was before they put a cap on the cost per night. So, I mean, this could have been $700 per bedroom per night. And it was only a 1-bedroom cabin. That's the other cool thing. And it still only would have been 13,500 Wyndham points per night. So just an insane value. It wasn't 700. I'm just saying it could have been. I don't actually remember what the cents per point worked out to on this one, but I know they have all been more than 1.25 cents per point. A private pier at sunset. Other than the mosquitoes, this was just amazingly beautiful. If you've ever heard Gordon Lightfoot's song "Whispers of the North," it reminds me of that. I think I had that going through my head that entire trip. Another hack is if you can find places that are listed as 1 bedroom, even though they're gigantic, like this one, that's kind of a hack too. So this one only had 1 bedroom because it had like a room for the mom and dad downstairs. Then upstairs it had a loft, but there wasn't a closing door. There was like 4 bunk beds. So in theory, it could accommodate 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 people, even though it's only 1 bedroom. And then there was another like futon in the basement. So you can in theory have like 8 people pretty comfortably, 9 if somebody wants to sleep on the couch in the living room. So it was like we had a whole flippin' house that's like about the same size, if not a little bit bigger and nicer than the house we actually live in, for 13,500 points per night. And then in 2023, we went back to Wisconsin. Unfortunately, there are no Vacassas in Iowa, so the closest ones are in Wisconsin. This was just a boys' weekend. My wife wasn't with us. This is called The Logs, and the nearest town is Necedah, Wisconsin. It's just right on the edge of a state park. Literally, the backyard of the cabin abuts up to a state park. You can see on the right there, it's a loft, so that those bunk beds don't count as a bedroom. And there was actually like a twin bed just laying there and then another set of bunk beds. So this one could accommodate even more. Not quite as nice as the first one, but still really, really nice. It's like a A+ versus an A. So not a huge differential or anything like that. Here's a picture of the kitchen. Had a dishwasher. I don't remember if I was trying to show you there's a dishwasher. I just forgot to close it. Coffee maker. There was an oven off to the left. We made frozen pizzas. Got our breakfast cereals over here. There was a couple couches in the living room, like a true log home. We watched some TV. I think they're watching Dude Perfect there. There was a pool table, so they got to play pool. That was pretty cool. And then we went to this nearby state park. I don't remember what this one was called. I apologize. But there's a lot of buttes in central Wisconsin where like just random rocks jut out of the ground, even though you don't think of Wisconsin as like mountainous. So my kids are looking at this butte here, and this one matches this one. This peak matches where I'm standing. So we did eventually climb up it, and it was, well, the foliage was in bloom, which attracted me. So what has actually happened? Hat tip to Loyalty Lobby, who Matt Clausen sent me this link. Thanks to him. Wyndham Rewards and Vacassa partnership ends on December 1st, 2025. Wyndham and Vacassa signed a deal in 2021 that's allowed Wyndham Reward members to use their points for vacation rentals, but that is soon coming to an end. And yes, there is a typo here. It says ends their partnership instead of ends, but we all know what that means. So I don't use Reddit, but I'm a lurker, and somebody pointed me to this after the news was announced. Whoever Curly Explantation is said Dugroz is going to be suicidal. If you saw the thumbnail of this video, I had a bit of an extreme reaction, but suicidal is probably going a little too far. Matt suggested the word crestfallen, and yes, I am definitely crestfallen to hear what has happened with all of this. Fleet Easily says, I wonder how much this devalues Wyndham for points and miles players. Played around on the website, still found a couple hotels for 3 cents per point, but this is a significant having fun devaluation. Yeah, absolutely. So I think it just about ruins it for my use case. The Hyatt, the Wyndham properties that are really nice, where you can get like 3 cents per point that are actual Wyndham properties, are mostly resorts, like in the Caribbean, Southern United States. Like, I think there's one called Seafire, something like that. Or occasionally you can get really good value if you're staying like in a really big city and there's an event going on, like a boxing match or a football game or something like that. I think maybe Luke has used that before. If you're still on board, Luke, let me know, or something like it, because they still use a fixed award chart. It's either $7,500 per night, $15,000 per night, or $30,000 per night. So if you've got a use case where you're going to like big resorts in the Caribbean or the South, then it can be really nice. But if you're more of a road warrior, you want to go to like cabins in the Midwest or Mount Rushmore, that use case is gone. A lot of these were in Hawaii, which was another good use case. That use case is gone. So for me, it's a serious devaluation. I mean, it makes me not want to collect them anymore, to be honest. QC Man has arrived and drops 1 Dugroz Reports membership. Thank you, QC Man. Celebrate. Hey, I appreciate that. Luke says, I've never used Vacassa. I was thinking like an actual Wyndham property, but maybe I'm thinking of Choice Hotels. That's probably, I think you used your first ever Choice Hotel not too long ago. To go to a rock concert or something like that. QC Man says, good morning. Good morning. Luke does love the Seafire Resort in Grand Cayman. Yeah, that one is an IHG. So I said Seafire or something like that. So let's chalk it up to the something like that. Yes, indeed. Okay, moving along here. Back to the main event. So as of right now, I've got 114,267 Wyndham points. And this is after the first half of the promotion posted. The other 7,500 from the card is still coming. So in the very near future, I'm going to have 120,000 Wyndham points. So let's grab our handy dandy calculator and do a little bit of math. 120,000 divided by 13,500, and that comes out to 8.8 repeating. So basically, I've got 8 nights in a 1-bedroom Vacassa that I could pay with, but I would have to do it real soon. Real soon. If I do that, I have to book within the next 29 days. Let's collect some comments that people put on my community tab post when I announced all this was coming. WK Walk 11 says, after losing Caesar's status match and now losing Vacassa, Wyndham points just is worth a lot less. I agree with that 100%. Upside Down P says, it looks like it might be time to cancel the Wyndham business card. And LKEBM, Evidence-Based Money, says, I was planning on canceling my Wyndham card. No regrets now. Or that one commercial, no regrets. I think it was for Snickers. S. Beery says, I hope Cottages isn't next. And I responded, I don't know if this is 100% or not. Cottages.com is owned by Aways. Vacassa is owned by Casago now. So hopefully okay. So I'm hoping, thinking, crossing my fingers that cottages.com is okay. It seems to me like Vacassas tend more to be corporately owned. Cottages over the United Kingdom tend to be owned by just a person. So the 2 times I've used it was just like some local person that had a vacation rental property on site. So I think that's less likely to go through a big merger, but can't say that with 100% certainty. That's just guessing. Luke says, Choice. It was an Astros game. The Cambria was good. Good. Glad to hear it. So maybe one of my alternate strategies can be shifting away from Wyndham to Choice. Juan Garcia says, I suppose the Wyndham Business Earner Card just got devalued with this Wyndham Vacassa breakup. Yep, that's what we're discussing. Fleet says, yeah, it was a big city events and Caribbean resorts I found with still good value, which I'm questing for all 30 baseball stadiums, so I still have some use cases. Yeah, absolutely. Scott S. says, what if U.S. Bank Altitude Reserve comes in on December 15th with a Vacassa partnership? We can dream, I guess. Ha ha. Well, it's like that. If that were to happen, that line at the end of Dumb and Dumber, it's like me talking to U.S. Bank. And then you go and do something like this and totally redeem yourself. So, yeah, if U.S. Bank had a Vacassa partnership and it was decent, like, 1-to-1 equivalent, because I don't even know what Vacassa points are, or something like that, not like 2-to-1, U.S. Bank would have earned my trust back. Studio TK says, yeah, first the Altitude Reserve, then Wyndham. For me, this year hurts. Only saving grace is the Wyndham property I consistently stay at still pulls 1.38 cents per point on average. I'm wondering, is that a situation like what Fleet easily mentioned, where it's kind of like big city or place with lots of events, so it's a fixed price? Jesus Christ 3410 has stopped by and drops a W to feed the algorithm. I appreciate that. And hey, we finally cleared 60 people, so if you've not yet done so, please click the thumbs up button. You can also list the worst hotel you've ever stayed at over in the comment section if you want to feed the algorithm a little bit more. Let's keep on going here with our main event. Filmo says, I've never Vacassa'd before, but I'm sad that I can't now. Scott S. says, sorry, Dugroz, for asking if Wyndham points were still worth it last week. And I said, you jinxed it. That's a joke. Hey, Fleet Easley, he looks familiar, says, I'm devastated. I just finished the bonus on my Wyndham Earner card and maxed out the 90% point. I'm assuming what you mean is you purchased points with that 90% point bonus. My 2026 Travel Foundation was utilizing Wyndham points for Vacassa stays and international hotels while piecing together flights from various airlines. I still can, but loses a lot of flexibility. Follows up with, I'd already booked a Miami trip for January and was planning on Hawaii in the spring. Now I sort of want to cancel the Florida trip and blow it out on Hawaii instead. So let's all help out Fleet here if you have an opinion. Should he keep the Miami trip in January or quickly cancel it and change it to Hawaii before his time runs out? What do you think? Leave a comment. Let us know. Studio TK said, events in a big city. Good. And DEM says, Doug, if you're going Choice, it might be time to beef up the city lineup. I'm working on it proactively. So thank you for the input. Yan Lao says, the main thing is if I can't do Vacassa or cottages, it will take me years to finish spending the 200,000 Wyndham points on file, especially if I only redeem for good value, or especially because I only redeem for good value. Yeah, I'm with you. I feel like, what am I going to do with these points? So that's what we're going to decide on right now. So we've reached a fork in the road. I asked AI to draw a picture of a guy in his 40s, and apparently that's me right there. So there's kind of two routes that I could go with this. I could save the points for future Wyndham or cottages stays, not Vacassa, but cottages in the United Kingdom, or I could blow through the points between now and January 31st. I said in January because I've got the creator meetup in November. I've got my family's going to Arizona to see the in-laws in December. My work has dates kind of blocked out in December. I've got at least one other activity I've committed to in the month of December. So I don't think I have any bandwidth beyond what's already scheduled. So it would pretty much have to be in the month of January. And as I was saying earlier, the stinky thing about this all coming to an end in January is January is not exactly the time to book stuff unless you're going to go south and get into a warmer climb. Juan says, as a biased Miami resident, I would keep Miami in January, but you can't go wrong with Hawaii. That's a good point. Honestly, I think if you're still on board Fleet, I think I would blow it all in Hawaii and just knock it out while you still have the chance, because I've heard some of those redemptions are pretty great. And he says, thanks for the shout out. Basically, in January, I have 3 weeks off work. First week was Florida. Second's for visiting family. Third has no plans, though. Yeah, so just switch it from Florida to Hawaii. Hello, Hawaii. Can I come over? That's from the Garfield Hawaii special back in the 80s or 90s, if you're wondering. So, which path should I take here? Sucks that there's a devaluation. Sucks that Wyndham to Vacassa is going away. But all we can do is react. That's what the world of points and miles is all about. You know, opportunities come, opportunities go. You pivot, you adjust. There are things you can and can't do. In fact, Nick Reyes from Frequent Miler got in on a special once where cottages.com was letting you book any number of rooms for their base level, 15,000 points per night. And he booked like a flippin' castle. So let's go over some options and just take a quick look here. And MR wants lasagna after that obscure reference. Obscure, but golden. You always get me, MR. Thank you. Now, if you're going to save the points for the future, there's something you got to keep in mind. I'm sorry this is blurry. It was on my phone and real small, so I had to blow it up. Wyndham points do expire. Now, they have 2 different expiration tiers. I'll go in reverse order. If you look at the bottom, it says after 18 consecutive months without any activity, all of your points will be forfeited. Be sure to stay or redeem by April 19th, 2027. That's roughly a year and a half from now. So basically, buy a pop or a stick of gum at a gas station on my Wyndham Earner business card, sends points over, extends out that 18-month. That part's not a big deal. This one is a bigger deal, the top one. Points expire 4 years after they are earned and posted to your account. You have 5,414 points that will expire on the 30th of November, 2028. So that is a hard expiration. Now, fortunately, Wyndham's system is good enough that the oldest points expire first. So it's not like those are the only points I have. This is just the first batch that's going to expire, and there'll be more after that, more after that. So I do have to remember that if I'm going to save these for the future of Wyndham, that 120,000 points I've already earned will hard expire in 4 years. So if I'm using cottages, I got to get to the United Kingdom within the next 4 years for the third time. It's really cold in this room, folks. So I'm going to turn up the heat. Give me just a second. I'll even rotate the camera so you can watch me do it, so you know I've not abandoned you. Okay. Hopefully that'll be a little bit better. Sorry for that. Moving along here. All right, so I'm going to keep on the left-hand margin here, saving the points for future Wyndham or cottages stays. We're saving this for the future. And I'm mostly focusing in on cottages. So again, cottages.com is kind of like Vacassa. It's vacation rentals. It's like a competitor to Vrbo or Airbnb, except they are specifically in the United Kingdom. And I have found that mostly these are privately owned by just a citizen. So here's an example. It's apartment 5 in the town of Plymouth in the United Kingdom. So this is down on the southern part of the UK. In fact, I think it is where a lot of the cruise ships depart from, that kind of stuff. That looks pretty swanky. If you look down here, you've got a balcony looking out over the ocean. There's a lighthouse right there. You've got a very finely appointed couch. Or maybe you could stay at the Barn. Now, this one's only 1 bedroom, so this would be the fewest amount of points. This is actually one I've had my eye on for a long time. It's just outside the outskirts of the Greater London area. It's definitely not in London. It's not even in Greater London, but it's kind of on the edge. You could probably drive into downtown London within an hour or so. If you look at the pictures, you can see this one has just 2 like double or queen size beds and a loft on the top floor. So probably not ideal for a family if you want privacy of any kind. Maybe if you have like a toddler or something like that, but definitely for a solo or a couple, it'd be a good choice. It just looks very Britishy, so that looks like a good choice. How about the Bati at Jelly Nude? It's probably pronounced Geshi Nushi. This is in Llanwrst in Wales. And you can see you've got a private hot tub for two looking out over the rolling hills of Wales. Oh man, this just looks so beautiful. This is also a 1-bedroom, so perfect for a couple. It's only going to cost me the $13,500 per bedroom per night. And since it's only 1 bedroom, it's $13,000 per night. Got a nice couch, got a wood-fired stove. You've got a queen or maybe king-size bed over here. And here's a couple other pictures of that location. Wait a minute, that's me. What am I doing in that picture? It's almost like I took these pictures myself. Oh, wait, I did take these pictures myself. Do you know why? It's because I have stayed almost at this exact property. So Geshi Nushi has actually 3 properties on site, all owned by the same couple. There's the barn, the farmhouse, and the boti or bati. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. And it's on a working farm in Wales. So I literally have stayed like 15 feet away from this property, took these pictures myself. And as I look at these pictures, it brings a couple thoughts to mind. One is like, oh man, I loved my time there so much. I really want to go back. Just Wales is so awesome. And 3, I'm almost like mad that I can't be there right now with the nice weather and everything. MR says nude jelly Wales. Nice. It's jelly nude, not nude jelly. Nick says, I will have to watch the replay. Dad duties await. My condolences for your loss, Vacassa Dugroz. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. 60 people on board. Go ahead and keep on clicking the thumbs up button. All right. So, man, after seeing all that, how could I not just save it for cottages.com? I just have to get back to the United Kingdom sometime in the next 4 years or so. Slightly under 4 years because I've already earned the points. So the other option was to book a Vacassa and blow through the points in January. Now, unfortunately, this is where my time to make the PowerPoint ran out. So stock photo of a cabin there and just a picture missing type logo. But I got it. I know my way around the Vacassa website well enough that we can just do this thing. So here's the Vacassa website, and you'll see it says find a vacation rental, a Casago company, up in the corner. We're going to type in Illinois because I spelled that wrong. Because we know there are no Vacassas anywhere in the entire state of Iowa, so we're going to get as close as we can here. Got a little map. Now, the state of Iowa is right here. There's Des Moines, where I'm from. Here is the Quad Cities where I'm at right now. And just south of it, we have 2 properties here. And there is, this is literally the closest one. I'm not sure why it says 2 properties when it's only showing 1. But let's click on it, see what comes up. I think it's just 1. It's called Hager Cabin in Aledo, Illinois. And if I wanted to book this in January, let me pull up some dates here and see what we got. I bet the price is going to be really low. Let's just say I wanted to go like on a Saturday, and I'm going to work until Wednesday. So I think that's 4 nights. Yes. Total fee with fees would be $619. At 4 nights, you have to make sure you're under $250. Per bedroom per night, which would mean you have to be under $1,000. We're safely under $1,000. Now, if you click through to the next screen, a lot of times it does add about another $50 to $100. So fair warning. I'm going to guess this one's probably in the neighborhood of $700. So 13,500 times 4 would be 54,000 points. So I'd be using about half of my Vacassa points if I booked this. And then if you want to know what that comes out to, I'm sure this won't be a great rate. $700 divided by 54,000 is 1.29 cents per point. So right around that 1.25 that I'm familiar with. So there's one option. I could stay at the Hager Cabin. Let's look at some photos here. Now, obviously, these pictures were not taken during the month of January. You got a porch. You got a porch swing. You've got it's much like that cabin I went to in Wisconsin called The Logs, it looks like. There's even a loft, a fireplace. Got some skulls of dead animals on the wall. Good, good. So my thought is like, I'm not necessarily using vacation time in January, but I could just go work there and enjoy having like a workstation work from anywhere vacation. I see laundry machines, very useful, very useful. I love the laundry sandwich. So that's one option. I could go there if you're just wanting to know like what's the closest Vacassa that I could go to. Did you see the pictures of the cabin? Because I'm not sure if I clicked the button to switch tabs or not. I better do it again just in case. I'm sorry. Share this tab instead. Okay. So these are the pictures I was looking at. The Hager cabin just south of Moline, Illinois, about 45 minutes away from here where we are right now. Would this be a good use of my points? Should I blow them in this way in the month of January? Not super fancy. The location's like on the edge of a small town, so it's not gonna win any awards or anything like that, but it would be fairly relaxing. And I could just say, hey, I used up the very, very last Vacassa. Or if we want to get more search results, we can go to the map again and zoom out here. What are some other ones? Maybe let's say we want to go south. So this has to be something that's doesn't have to be, but let's say we need something within driving distance. So we're going to go to the state of Missouri, which has several down around the Lake of the Ozarks and that kind of stuff. So let's zoom in on those, see if we can find something that is 1 or 2 bedrooms here. Here's a 2-bedroom called the Rubber Duck. Here is a 4-bedroom. Let's go back to the Rubber Duck and just see what that's like. So if you want to be on the Lake of the Ozarks here, it says $117 per night. Let's again check in the month of January, and we'll go a little later. We'll go Saturday the 24th through Tuesday the 27th, and that's $558. So that's going to be a little bit. It's going to be a lot worse in terms of price since this is 2 bedrooms. So this one's not going to be a very good value. Let's skip out on that one. See if we've got any other warm places we can go to here in the Lake of the Ozarks area. Actually, you know what? Let's just go all the way down to Branson. How about that? Or the northern part of Arkansas. Branson, they took Nick at night and made it a town. Oh, this is kind of cool. You can stay in a... oh, my share the screen ended. Sorry, folks. Let me bring it back. All right, so this lodging is called A Frame of Mind. Get it? A Frame of Mind. It's an A-frame property right on a lake there. Oh, you got a hot tub. You got pool. I almost feel like lame, like going to this place by myself. Maybe I need to invite friends or something like that. Come play pool with Dugroz and celebrate the end of Vacassa points in the month of January in Branson. Something along those lines. So what would that come out to in terms of price? And could I book it with the correct number of points? Let's find out. We're going to go January 24th through 27th. And that would be $772. So probably about $882. Perfect. So we got $882 after all the fees and everything divided by 54,000 points. That would be 1.63 cents per point. So do I want to go to A Frame of Mind? Well, whether or not I want to go there, it would definitely be an option. So let's find another property here that's been on my mind for a long time. So I was thinking I would drive, but what if I flew out to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and then head due south to the western panhandle of Michigan instead? Not Michigan, Maryland instead. I'm going to search this area right here. And I am looking for a very specific property. I'll know it when I see it, if you'll bear with me. Boy, some of these look nice, but that one's 6 bedrooms, so that's not going to be a good choice. Next. I would have just logged into my account, but the problem is then you can see like my email address and that kind of stuff, and I didn't want that. Well, come on. Don't tell me it's going to be the very last one. It's like the third to last one. All right. Deep Creek's only Frank Lloyd Wright inspired house, Fleur de Montagne. So does anyone know who Frank Lloyd Wright is? He was an architect in the first part of the 20th century that designed very natural type houses. This is not a Frank Lloyd Wright original house, but it was inspired by that type of look. So I actually was thinking maybe for our anniversary in May or June, I would take my wife here. Well, that's not going to be an option anymore, but maybe I could go by myself in January. Obviously, we're not going to have green, but we might have some snow on the ground. Maybe it'll just be beautiful to go there and work there. It's just really nice looking. I mean, the inside just looks super classy. Got a fire pit. It's got that Frank Lloyd Wright inspired feel to it, where the furniture is very like mid-century modern. That's how I would describe it, at least. I mean, look at those lamps. I did tour an actual Frank Lloyd Wright house in Springfield, Illinois, and it looked a lot like this on the inside. So just really cool architecture. I think sort of the brightness of the home, the windows would be just a really cool place to work. I think it's 2-bedroom, so it's going to be a little more expensive. Going to blow through more points. You got a covered patio here, which would probably be pretty cold in January. I checked the average temperature is still like 30s and 40s. Fire pit, rocks, grass, that kind of stuff. So that would be a pretty cool example. Now let's check on the cost here. We'll go the same time frame going into the end part of January here. And it says $969. We got to add about $100 of that. So probably about $1,070-ish is what it would actually come out to. Now, remember, this one's going to be double. So instead of $54,000, it's going to be $108,000. So if I did 1070 divided by 108,000, this one's less good value. This is going to be 9.9 cents per point, or basically right at 1 cent per point. But I have enough points that I could cover a 4-day weekend there. Maybe on the way back, I could swing by Wheeling, West Virginia, stay at the best Hampton Inn in the world. So there's 3 candidates that I could use. Another one I could do is like, I could go to the coast down in Alabama or Florida, or something like that. In fact, let's check on one of those. See if we can find something. I was in Foley, Alabama, which is the Gulf Coast. So let's check out that area. There's a truckload down in that area. Search right here. Gulf Shores, Alabama. 175 options right there. Let's go with one of these out here on the Fort Morgan Peninsula. Let's see what we got. I don't want Fort Walton Beach. Let's search right here. Okay, let's find a 1-bedroomer here. If it says 0-bedroom, that just is pretty much the same thing. All right, Plantation East, Fort Morgan, Alabama. Let's see what this one looks like. We've got it looks pretty standard, Florida Gulf Coast or Alabama Gulf Coast property. Pretty nice. Be a lot warmer than Maryland in the month of January, but a little on the sterile side, not that exciting. Just looks like, we've got laundry facilities nearby. Got a sauna. I don't know what that's supposed to be, a different sauna. Teeny tiny exercise room. Got an indoor pool. Got an outdoor hot tub. I would use that. Got a walkway down to the beach. Yeah. Some dude just sitting there like, hey, do you mind being on this website forever? Let's see how much this one would cost here. We'll go to... it's sold out for the month of January, so that's not an option. All right, well, let's check one that's a lot like it then. Plantation Palms, how about that? I stopped sharing my screen accidentally. Sorry about that, folks. All right, looks pretty similar. Let's see if it has availability. Yeah, it does. Okay. So for 4 nights, this would be, $355. This is not going to be very good value, but I could do it. This would be down around like 0.6, 0.7 cents per point. So it's an option. So there's the decision-making that we need to do. What do you think? Should I be saving my points to go back to the United Kingdom for a Vacassa in a big city or something like that when there's an opportunity to get outsized value, or should I just blow the points now because it's fun to do something before it's no longer an opportunity? I think I'm leaning towards saving them, but I could also do half and half. I could do like the cheap Vacassa in Illinois, like 50-some thousand points, and then I would still have 70,000. I could build up more for cottages in the future or something like that. Let's see what other people have to say. Counter Everything says, I was granted early check-in at a Hyatt Place after requesting it on the reservation, showing up at 12 p.m. I'm only a regular member, Explorist or whatever. Hey, that's awesome. Good news. Charles says, get the same, you use more energy. Use Dominion Energy SC. It would be funny if they gave everyone the same message. That would be funny. Gentleman Explorer arrived and gave a $5 super chat. Ooh, he's the winner so far today. Celebrate. Thank you, Gentleman Explorer. I appreciate that. Your patronage is much appreciated. Filmo says, I don't think forcing a Vacassa is what I would do. Cottages seems like it's worth the risk, and if it falls through, there has to be an actual Wyndham property you could use before expiration. I'm leaning the exact same way, Filmo, so thank you for sharing that opinion with me. Dad on a mission says, I do have a third option for almost half of your points. I've transferred 30,000 Wyndham points to Caesars for 2025, and I'll do the same for 2026. I use their points at Caesars properties in Vegas. I know this will probably shock some of you. I'm not really a Vegas kind of guy. It's not a strong draw for me, but maybe. Now, I think Caesars is also in like Atlantic City, New Jersey, so maybe I'd go there sometime. Go back to New Orleans or something like that. There is actually a Caesars property somewhere in Iowa. I think it's in Waterloo. Funny enough. But you can use them other locations, good for dining, shows, etc. Yeah, maybe we should go. My wife's great-grandma, who's 93 or 94 years old, lives in the Waterloo area. So maybe take Grandma out to a dinner and a show sometime at a Caesars. Not a terrible idea. I appreciate the suggestion, Dad, though I think I'm still leaning towards what Filmo said. Save it, take the risk on cottages, and if it falls through, there has to be an actual Wyndham property somewhere. I've only stayed at 3 Wyndham properties in my life so far, at least with points and miles. You know, obviously when I was a kid, we stayed at Super 8s and that kind of stuff, which I don't even think was owned by Wyndham at the time. Stayed at a Days Inn in Wisconsin when the electricity went out at the Vacassa for just one night. Stayed at a, I think it was a Wingate by Wyndham, but don't quote me on that. It might have been a Wyndham Garden, something like that, just outside the St. Louis airport, just a place to lay down, and it was fine. Excuse me. There's a line from The Simpsons that Moe says at one point where he's like, I'm choking on my own rage here. That's me. I'm choking on my own rage because of this Vacassa thing. And then I stayed at the American in Clear Lake just 2 weeks ago to go look at the foliage. We still got some foliage going on out the window. Actually, I think it's finally come to central Iowa, the middle half of Iowa, the middle third of Iowa, not so much central. So I've thought about going and looking at foliage today, but there's an Iowa State football game starting in about 45 minutes. So by the time it's done, I'll maybe have an hour of daylight, and I'm tired, so I don't know if I'm going to make it, but maybe we'll get some fall foliage in. MR says, you definitely seem like a Hoover Dam kind of guy. And I mean that in the most respectful way. I've been to the Hoover Dam. Have you seen my pictures? I was also able to use my Aeroplan card to pay myself back on parking at the Hoover Dam parking lot. So any other opinions on which way I should go? Save them for cottages or a future Wyndham stay, or blow through the points in January? I would love to hear your opinions. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and transition into the community tab post, because that is the end of the main event, the theme of the day. Thank you, everyone. All right. Every single Friday, unless I forget, I put a community tab post online, and you can do a couple things. One is you can ask me a question that's related to points and miles in some way, or you can guess where the picture was taken. So here is today's picture, and there was actually 2 of them. The first one is a picture of some guy who looks a lot like me, got a jacket on, got a hat on. What do we think that might be? And then the second picture was just out in the woods somewhere, sun shining through a bunch of trees and whatnot. That was a very pretty day, and to give you a clue, it was fairly recent. MR says, damn, that's a good idea. It is. Anytime you visit a dam, it's a good idea. I've also toured the not only the Hoover Dam, but also the Glen Canyon Dam in Page, Arizona. Fleet says, based on the consensus, I think it's leaning towards keeping my Florida trip, but keeping an eye out for Hawaii if something comes up for flights over the next 4 weeks. All right. MR says, I would save it for the international trip personally. Gentleman Explorer says, team churn and burn, don't wait. Filmo says that dam parking can be pricey, and he is right. It can be like $6 an hour or something like that. Fleet says, Florida's fully refundable through December, so I have time. Yep, just remember, you would have to make your booking by the last day of November. And I think Wyndham only has certain agents who can handle the Vacassas, and I'm not sure where the calendar falls with weekends and those kind of things and Thanksgiving. I wouldn't wait till the last minute. So Thanksgiving is on Thursday, the 27th. I feel like functionally you might have to make your decision by like 5 o'clock Eastern time on Tuesday, November the 25th, realistically, if you want to do a different Vacassa booking. All right, so this is the picture of the day. Let me go ahead and get into comments now. Dimitri1111 says, what's your take on the latest Vacassa news? It stinks. Bad. I'm angry. I'm mad. I'm verklempt. I'm crestfallen. I'm not suicidal, but look at the thumbnail of this video and you'll see that I'm filled with rage and disgust. Thank you. And as somebody said earlier, if someone else picked up Vacassa as a direct transfer partner, that could be a big win, but I don't see it happening. Ian KM1 says, where can I book a large house with transferable points nowadays? I said, good question. We will discuss. And New Again says, pretty much all the major hotel chains have vacation rentals now. That's one of those things that's technically true. So like, is it Hilton Homes and Villas? Or is that Hyatt Homes and Villas or Marriott Homes and Villas? Hilton has their whatever they call it. Hyatt has whatever they call it. But it seems like I've never personally looked into it, but Frequent Miler and others have mentioned that it's pretty bad value. I mean, not like Hilton has great value to begin with, but do any of you have experience booking a vacation property rental type thing? Even Wyndham has their own direct. I don't remember exactly what it was called, but like very early in my Points of Miles journey, this would have been the summer of 2020, the COVID summer. My family did a social distancing vacation where we drove to Springdale or Springfield, Arkansas, something like that, and stayed at a vacation rental type property that was owned by Wyndham. Now, I didn't book it through Wyndham. I booked it with hotels.com by buying gift cards at 5X at Staples and then booking it that way. But yeah, what experiences do you have with Hyatt, Hilton, Wyndham, Choice, Marriott? They're big home booking type properties where you can book cabins, condominiums, that kind of stuff. I really don't know, but I obviously will be looking into it in the future. Fleet easily asked his question about should he blow out his points on his epic Miami vacation or stick with Miami, epic Hawaii or stick with Miami. Yeah. Can still use them for hotels, but that feels less fun. I think I've given my opinion. I would do Hawaii. Hello, Hawaii. Can I come over? But other people seem to feel differently. In terms of guessing the location of where the picture was taken, we've got a couple different guesses. Luke Johnson says Waterville, Minnesota. Now, there was a little bit of cheating. And also, Ian MK says, do we even have to guess? The town is listed on the compass. And I said, because I posted a third picture with a compass heading, I thought it only showed the coordinates, but then I noticed if you click on the picture, you can clearly see the town name. Now, that's actually the name of the nearest town, not exactly where the picture was taken. So, Ian, you get 250 Dugroz points for a good guess, but not thorough enough. Luke D. Johnson also guessed Waterville, Minnesota, and you also get 250 Dugroz points. But the actual guesser that got it dead on right is Ron Byrne, who guessed Sakata Lake State Park near Waterville, Minnesota. That's right. If you paid attention last week, you know I went to a couple different state parks, one of which was Sakata Lake State Park, where I took this picture. That's me walking out in the woods with some Ewok buddies. The rest of the questions on the community tab, Ron also asked this follow-up question. Have you ever been to the Mall of America in Minneapolis? Is it worth a visit if in the area? Well, before I answer, Fleet Easley said this. I went to the Mall of America back in 2022. It was a fun visit, but I probably wouldn't do it for more than 3 or 4 nights total. Pro tip, book the JW Marriott. It's connected to the Mall of America. Also, the rooms have deep soaking tubs. I got a room for $130 per night because they're doing a promotion of some kind way back when I was booking. Be on the lookout. So, have I ever been to Mall of America? I believe I did one time. I was in a big hurry, so I didn't do much. I remember going to a Lego store in there. I wish I'd taken more time. I don't even remember why I went or what the occasion was. So yeah, I don't have a lot of tips about Mall of America. I apologize. It seems like one of those things that was a huge deal in like the 90s and first decade of the 2000s, and maybe now not as exciting as it once was. But if any of you have experiences with the Mall of America, by all means, speak up. Back to Ian's question, where can I book a large house with transferable points? My extended family is actually booking an entire house through Capital One. They have a section now on vacation type rentals in December over Christmas. It's just a cash booking. And I can't remember if they do 5 points per dollar, 10 points per dollar. It's one of those things where I'm booking it and my family, each family that's using is reimbursing me. So I'm not paying for the whole thing myself, but I get to earn some points. Now, obviously, that's good earning. You can use the travel eraser at 1 cent per point. But in terms of better than a 1 cent per point value, Airbnb, you can sometimes buy Airbnb gift cards and pay yourself back. You could book an Airbnb with Aeroplan and boom, pay yourself back that way. That's about all I can think of, though. So yeah, the options are definitely somewhat limited. If anybody has great ideas, let me know. I should make that an entire topic for a live stream. I'm going to actually screenshot that. Good idea, Ian. Where can I now book a large house with transferable points? I'll assume domestic mostly. Next community tab question. Let's see here. How does your vacation rental strategy change? Are you optimizing city points or using more cash back? Yeah, thank you. This is a question from Scott S. I'm not really sure. I guess my initial strategy would be keep on leaning into Aeroplan and just pay yourself back on stuff. That's about all I can think of right now. I'll have to do more research. Again, if any of you have great strategies for vacation rentals, like cabins, cottages, those kind of things, condominiums, let me know. I'll have to really dig down and research. Obviously, if I'm going to the United Kingdom, I can still use cottages. As it relates to the picture of the day, Bob Travels guest, you're about to summit Mount Washington for optimal leaf viewing across New England. I think Mount Washington is in either New Hampshire or Vermont, one of the two. That's a great guess. Wrong, but a great guess. Luke Johnson asked this theme of the day question. If your credit cards were people, which one would be your best friend and which one keeps disappointing you? Maybe that could be a whole separate theme sometime. I actually like that. I did think about it just a little bit. Well, I know which friend just betrayed me. It was the Wyndham Business Earner card. They're the friend that stabbed you in the back. Friend that consistently lets me down. I don't know. I can't think of one right now. City in general, because they're terrible customer service. But they've had kind of a comeback and totally redeemed themselves with American, with Choice 1 to 2, with Preferred Hotels. So really a decent option. Yeah, not only did Wyndham betray me, literally when I did my whole 5-part path series, Wyndham was an entire section on that. I feel like that's all ruined now. But again, the name of the game is adjustments. So couple kind of best friend credit cards. So you've got that came out funny. The best friend. But best friend is something different entirely. Best friend. You have your longtime best friend where you've been friends since kindergarten, the Bryans of the world, if you will. And, they're just kind of old, reliable, maybe not exciting, but they're always there and it seems to be working. That would be my Capital One Venture X, which started as a regular Capital One no rewards card, became a Venture X. I often find myself coming back around to 2x on everything, concession stand at the football game because it doesn't code as dining, paying a random bill here and there. So the Venture X is just sort of the old reliable friend. Now there's a different kind of best friend that's like the guy you met at church 5 years ago, who it's not like you have much of a history, but when you ask him for a favor, he just completely comes in clutch. This would be the Matts of the world. Don't expect most of you to know who I'm talking about, but I have a friend named Matt who lived here in the Des Moines area for a while, who's just, his friendship is really handy because he's like good at stuff. Like he knows about planting trees and like which ones to do. He helped me like fix a light bulb. He's just very handy. Like if something breaks, he'll show up at like 8 a.m. with a chainsaw and help you out. And that friend is the Air Canada Aeroplan card issued by Chase. You don't use it a lot, but when it comes in handy, it really comes in handy. When you need to get a Hampton Inn in York in the United Kingdom and the cents per point is just bad, you need a better way to pay for it without wrecking your family budget. Here comes Matt with the chainsaw. Here comes Aeroplan with paying yourself back. Some random Viator tour in Austria. Well, here's Aeroplan. Ready to help out. So, yeah. Old best friend going back years and years, Venture X. The newer best friend who just shows up and comes in clutch when you need him. That is the Aeroplan card. Fleet says, if I recall, Capital One is 5x for stays instead of 10x on hotel. I think so. And they do hit you with an Airbnb type cleaning fee. That's true. So you have to take that into consideration. Although it was all itemized in the initial booking. And you can cancel up until a few days before. That's nice too. Hey, look, Mike Newland has showed up and gifts 20 Dugroz Reports membership. That's just as good as a $60 super chat. Celebrate. Thank Mike. I always appreciate your patronage. Such a faithful guy doing guy stuff. I need to figure out which credit card is most like Mike Newland. Just drops a big bonus on you now and then. That would apply more to sign-up bonuses probably. But MR says it's getting hooter in here all of a sudden. Mike says, I didn't get the notification. I have to rewatch the live. What did I miss? We're having a group therapy session. We're talking about how Wyndham and Vacassa had a breakup. And we're going to break our vows together. Does anybody know what movie that's from? So, yeah, just a lot of commiserating and trying to figure out a strategy of how I'm going to use my 120,000 Wyndham points. Should I save them or not? YouTube Experiment will be doing the drive home from work. Awesome. What did I miss? We just went over that. How is this changing my daily wallet now, Doug? Well, I'm not going to be intentionally earning Wyndham points. I did just earn 19,000 accidentally on something that I really don't have a good way of using. So I would say for the time being, unless something comes up otherwise, my backup card, assuming I'm not working on a sub, for gas stations right now is the City Strata card, which will probably be changed into a City Strata Preferred in the near future. But yeah, you can see here, there's my City Strata card in my wallet. 8 at a Taco John's, 8 at a retail market, which is like a vending machine. But this card gets 3x on gas. If I end up product changing it to the Strata Premier, that also gets 3x on gas. So that's probably where I'll be going. Maybe I get some use out of those choice points instead. Maybe I can always cash out if I have to for a penny each. Maybe preferred hotels, something like that. So that's what I'm leaning towards. And then maybe Capital One, just doing some stuff with the travel eraser. I know it's only 1 cent per point, but if you're earning 10% and paying yourself back at 1 penny per point, it's kind of like 1.1, so it's better than nothing. A lot of domestic travel, a lot of road tripping in the next couple of years. John says, Mike, and MR says, celebrate. And I agree. Thank you so much. All right, that brings us to the end of the show. It is 11:30 a.m. Central Time, 11:29, close enough. So I met my goal of being done by noon. Thank you so much, everyone. I'm going to go back and go through who has made donations. I will check the tip jar. So if you want to make a donation, this is your final call for that. And Mike, I should have said, most likely the reason why, by the way, for those who haven't seen, I'm at a Hyatt Place. You could probably tell just by looking. I'm at a Hyatt Place. That picture, that couch, that cushion, that lamp, very Hyatt Place. This like kind of pathetic dividing wall that's like 3 feet wide. It's supposed to be a divider. The reason why you may not have got a notification is because I didn't push the video out till about 10 minutes before I went live. I'm at a chess tournament in the Quad Cities in East Moline, Illinois today. Dropped my son off, came back. So I didn't know when he would be playing, when it started, those kind of things. So I didn't know when the live stream would be, which is why I couldn't post it in advance. It seems like it takes the YouTube algorithm like an hour to 2 hours to push out those notifications. So in an ideal world, what I would do would be to post the link to the live stream the night before. Worst case scenario, right when I wake up, but I wasn't able to do either one of those today. I apologize. Tom Graber gifted 1 Dugroz Reports membership. Studio TK gave a $1.49 super sticker, thereby earning 1,000 Dugroz points. LN also gave the $1.49 super sticker, earning the same number of Dugroz points. John drops $1.99, which we appreciate. QC Man donated 1 membership, which is just as good as a $3 donation. Gentleman Explorer gave $5, and then Mike Newland gave 20 memberships, which is just as good as a $60 donation. So thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. No anonymous donations that I can see, at least, in the tip jar today, which is no problem. But yeah, keep on keeping on, everyone. I appreciate it. We'll make some sort of adjustment. We'll figure out what's going on with this whole Vacassa thing. But until next time, may your spending be frugal and may your points be plenteous. Bye.